Crouse. Now, there are one-joke movies, and then there are the SNL skit movies like It's Pat that stretch out a thin premise to 90 minutes, and then there's MacGruber, a spy spoof starring Will Forte as a secret agent ready to save the world with only a couple of celery stalks, some dental floss, and a tennis ball. Similarities to MacGyver are intentional, but they're only the tip of this all-80s parody. As the movie begins, MacGruber has been in retirement for 10 years since the murder of his bride, played by Maya Rudolph, on their wedding day. He's pulled back into the fray when it appears that his arch-enemy, that's Val Kilmer, playing a bad guy whose name cannot be repeated here for fear of me having to wash out my mouth with soap afterwards, that he may have gotten his hands on a nuclear warhead. Using their wits and the above-mentioned celery stalks, MacGruber, along with his blau-punked car radio, cherry red Miata, and cohorts Vicky St. Elmo, played by Kristen Wiig, and Lieutenant Dixon Piper, played by Ryan Felipe, must stop him before the State of the Union address. Now, like the television character, it is loosely based on MacGruber. The movie, not the man, aims to use odds and ends to cobble together a weapon capable of slaying the SNL skit movie curse. It's not entirely successful, but as a parody of 1980s action films and the fashion of the 80s and the cheesy soundtracks of the 80s and that decade's cavalier attitude towards movie violence, it has its moments, just not enough of them. First, there is some good stuff. The casting of Power's Red Dawn Booth as the tough-talking Army colonel is inspired, as is the prerequisite getting the team together montage. Also great is the dialogue, the kind that used to roll off the tongue of sweaty action stars like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. He can be quite a fly in the ointment, says MacGruber. So let's get a couple of fly swatters. Those lines, played straight as an arrow and coupled with some crazy non-sequiturs, provide many of the film's laughs, and there are many laughs until the movie starts to rely a bit too heavily on bathroom jokes. This movie is more consumed by bums and their contents than any diaper designer. Imagine if JCVD told poo-poo jokes in Double Impact, and you get the idea. Up until the introduction of celery stalks to a place where the sun doesn't usually shine, the movie is a silly homage to the excesses of 1980s B action movies. Afterwards, it's only occasionally funny as an homage to the excesses of modern skit comedy, like awkward pauses, pushing the joke past its breaking point, and really juvenile characters. Forte is 100% committed to the role of the inept MacGruber, but his cocky yet insane take on the character gets tired after the first half hour. Wiig fares better. It seems that she's incapable of not being funny, even when the material isn't up to snuff. Val Kilmer, who is looking more like a mid-career John Travolta all the time, hams it up, but he doesn't have the same kind of comic verve here that he had in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but then he had a much better script to work with that time out. MacGruber has some laugh-out-loud moments, just not very many of them. It would seem that it would take more skill than MacGyver to rescue this movie.
Crouse.